There's a CME gap that just hit. And of course, we always know that there are a lot of futures and options at play, right? That always happens. Every single month, we do have some manipulation going on to hit certain levels. But you know what? We did close out this CME gap. A lot of people don't understand what a CME gap. This came out of 2017 when futures were introduced. Because a normal stock market does have openings and closings, there are times when, say, the market closes and Bitcoin shoots up or shoots down, and there's a big gap when it does open again, right? So there's this phenomenon where if you have this gap, you need Bitcoin to either come down or go above and hit it once again to close the gap. Okay, so a lot of people think this was done on purpose to close that CME gap that we had right around $60,000, like that. Okay, well, okay. So if that was the case, that's done, right? But again, we do not know if that's exact reason why, or none of what I just said has anything to do with anything. And it was just due to technicals or due to some whales just randomly selling, right? But if I had to guess, I really do think that it's probably, now we're seeing a little bit more sell pressure, probably from the Mt. Gox people, right? That maybe the large amounts that were distributed are being sold off by companies that own them and they really need them, right? So if I had to guess, that's the reason. But you know what? Is this going to drive Bitcoin significantly lower? Is it going to drive Bitcoin to 30,000, 40,000, low 50s, mid 50s? At this point in time, I'm going to say no. I think Bitcoin is resilient. Just like I showed with Wall Street inflows, there are a lot of people that recognize this is a golden opportunity to buy. And that's because a lot of people realize that, hey, that's what you're supposed to do. You buy low and you sell high. You don't buy high and sell low, right? And there are a lot of smart money that are doing that. And of course, the third reason why we went down even lower is due to all the longs being liquidated. And that sucks. That sucks. I'll tell you, it sucks. Even 5X's got liquidated, okay? So we had 539 million of longs liquidated, 100 million shorts overall, 639 million, okay? This is the largest liquidation event for years. We haven't really seen this in a very, very long time. And of course, when you get so many longs liquidated, you have a long squeeze, and that drives things lower, right? So this is another reason why Bitcoin went lower. So that's exactly what happened, right? But is it time, ultimately, with all this information, is it time to panic? Is it time to get out? Is it time to say, hey, Bitcoin has topped out this cycle. It's time to get out, right? And I think you guys know what I'm going to say. My answer is no. My answer is no. Okay. Yeah, and here's why. Here's why. Look, where are we right now, right? We're about $56,000. We have seen a drop like this. Let's not forget, not too long ago, we did come all the way down from 73,000 down to about 56,005. So we're not that far off from there, right? So of course, when we climbed right back up to about 73,000 or 70,000, we're back down, right? So overall, we're not in bad shape. When in doubt, zoom out, right? And again, I like to point out that earlier this year, we were still in the 30s, like right here in January, we were still like $38,000. So we're still way, way above. And especially compared to where we were in September and October, we were at 26,000. Okay, this is where we were October 2023. This is where we are now. We're still double from that point. We're still up over 100% since October. So is it time to panic? My answer is no. Now, had we fallen all the way back down to 26,000 today, then I would say, okay, that's worrisome for us to drop so much so fast. But that's certainly not the case. We're still up over 100% from less than a year ago, right? And we know that every single cycle, there will always be dips. History suggests that Bitcoin is likely to hit an all-time high this year. Well, no duh, okay? I knew that. I've been telling you guys that. There are a lot of data that show that Bitcoin is going to go a lot higher. 50% of hedge funds, 50%, over 50%, have exposure to Bitcoin. You know why? Because Bitcoin is crushing stocks, crushing everything else out there. I know a lot of you guys seem to think that we're in a bear market again somehow. And somehow, like, we have lost all gains. And somehow that we have topped out and we're not going any higher. That is simply not true. Not close of being true. The reason why 50% or over 50% hedge funds have Bitcoin is because look at the growth. Look at the growth. This goes back, I don't know, since a year ago. Bitcoin is up 94%. S&P 23, Dow Jones 14, Apple 10, Tesla 29, minus 29, right? So, despite the fact it looks somewhat bearish, at least according to some, if you zoom out a little bit, you'll realize that Bitcoin has come up a long way and nothing outperforms Bitcoin, which is why the smart money, the big money, are still loading up. ETF inflows are still positive right now, day to day, week to week, month to month. The smart money, big money, they are loading up because they fear inflation and they fear that they will miss out on the FOMO train, right? That's why they want to get in early. Even Standard Chartered, an $800 billion asset bank, says that Bitcoin could hit all-time high by August. Not even by the end of this year, by August. And $100,000 by election day. Hey, that's not unreasonable. Tom Lee of Fundstrat said $150,000 by the end of this year. If we hit $100,000 by election day, we still have a whole month before end of year. Can we go up another 50% to $150,000 by the end of the year? It's certainly possible. Okay, we have seen Bitcoin make crazy moves, and when the FOMO train hits, it hits hard. That's why all this big money, smart money are loading up. Okay, even a bank, a huge, enormous bank out of Europe is saying the same thing. That's telling you something. The confident level is so insanely high right now, right? I mean, they're putting their neck out. If Bitcoin ends up being like 20,000 by election day, think about how bad this is going to look for them, right? So obviously, they believe, at least the CEO does, and so many others also believe,